It's finally time to explore the Berlin Trilogy by David Bowie. Today I'm starting off obviously with Low. This is the first of the 3 albums, and I've heard from some places this is his best album. It always goes between this one and The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and Spiders from Mars, so I'm interested to see what I think, okay? So there are 11 tracks here. This was released on January 14th, 1977. There must be an update for Apple Music, but I like that it says it there. I read the editor's notes and it said that Low feels like the first post-punk album, and I mean, it excites me. I actually don't know any of the songs from the album. I think this is the first album I've gone into knowing none of the songs, and the songs are Speed of Life, Breaking Glass, What in the World, Sound and Vision, which is starred, Always Crashing in the Same Car, Be My Wife, A New Career in a New Town, Warzawa, Warzawa, I think I'm saying that right, Art Decade, Weeping Wall, and Subterraneans. And it says also on here that it has kind of like this alien-ish sound, alien vibe. Where does it say it? The album has an alien sound through off-kilter mixing and the liberal use of synthesizers and effects. So I've heard that this is a very experimental album, and a lot of people say that you need to listen to it over and over to really appreciate it, but I guess we're just gonna see what I feel like on my first listen. And just keep in mind, this is my first time listening to the album, and I share my thoughts after it. It's not like I've listened to it a million times. Sometimes I'll look up the odd thing to be like, what's this song about? What's all this? And I've talked about Aladdin Sane, I've talked about Hunky Dory, and I've reacted to a bunch of songs. All that stuff is linked down below and up here. But without further ado, I'll be back in about 39 minutes. Well, that was really interesting, and I have a lot to say. Also notice how I actually now have lighting on this side of my face when I film at night. This is what it normally looks like, and this is what it does now because I use my phone. It's kind of smart. You can always tell in my videos when I film at the day versus during the night, just saying. So I went into Low and I was expecting something great, because you go into Bowie and you expect something great, and obviously this is known as one of his best albums, and the album cover is fantastic. Like, it's so simplistic, and I think it has something to do with the man who fell to earth, which I do want to do a video on. I want to find a way to get a physical copy of it so I can do a reaction to it, but if not, I'll find a way to watch it anyway. But I just think it's like, just the colors, everything, I don't know, it really fits the vibe of it well. And this is an album that almost reminds me of Dark Side of the Moon, if that makes sense, because half of it, the second side of it, is all instrumental besides like some lyrics, but they're not even like fully lyrics. I mean, there are a little bit on the final song, but not really. But it actually works. And when I was like, because when I was listening to this and it got to the instrumental ones, I started looking it up and I was like, okay, is there some meaning behind this? And this is known as a concept album, kind of like Pink Floyd The Wall. And I was looking at what some of the songs meant, and I'll go into them when I actually talk about the songs, but it reminded me of Dark Side of the Moon in the way that this is an album that doesn't so much focus on like singles. Like, sure, on Dark Side of the Moon you have time, you have money, and like those are basically the big ones. And here there are a few songs like Sound and Vision, Always Crash in the Car, Be My Wife, that are more so like you could put them on a playlist, whereas this album is more so the one that you could just listen to all the way through. And I think that's really good, because obviously that's what an album's supposed to do. And do I think there was a bad song on here? Absolutely not. I think it worked as a whole so well, and I don't think it's my favorite one. I don't think it's my favorite David Bowie album, but I don't know where I could place it amongst the other 3 that I've listened to. I might put it above Hunky Dory. I don't know for Aladdin Sane, and I'm still going to have Ziggy Stardust at the top spot, but I do want to listen to it over and over again. But this is one that I could listen to and just be working, like doing, I don't know, math homework. I have math right now, it sucks. And I could just listen to this, and it's just the sounds and all the extra little things. Like, it definitely has that alien sound that I mentioned, then like sound effects almost in it, and there's like the tss, tss, tss in one of the songs, and it's just so creative. And I mean, who really knows what was ever going on in the mind of David Bowie, but in this case it worked all for the best. But before I ramble on for too much longer, let's jump into the set list here. It starts off with Speed of Life, and this one was interesting. When it started, I was like, okay, this is going to be very different from the other ones I've heard, because obviously the other ones were like your traditional rockish album, and I don't really know why it says pop. Like, I don't consider David Bowie a pop star, I consider him a rock star here, but oh well. And it was a really, really great opening. It really felt like an album opener, and David Bowie, from what I've heard so far, really knows how to open an album well. And then it goes into Breaking Glass, which really, like, the lyrics are memorable in a way, and a lot of these songs don't have that many lyrics, and they're shorter songs. I mean, this song is 1 minute and 52 seconds. A lot of them, until we get to the instrumental ones later, are shorter, and still they like impact you in a way. And then What in the World, another great song. Like, there were songs that on a first listen, I can't think of that much to say about them because they haven't fully, like, my brain hasn't fully comprehended what they are exactly, although there's a few more. And then it goes into Sound and Vision, which is obviously, I think, the biggest song in this album. At least it says that with this star right here, and it was really great. Not my favorite from the album, which is, I mean, hard to say because there's so many great ones, but a really great song. I could see this one. This is one of the ones that I could see being performed in concert. I think it has been, and being added to playlists and stuff like that. And then my favorite was Always Crashing in the Same Car, because apparently, like, I was reading about this song online, apparently it was like the lyrics were literal from David Bowie about how, like, driving in the same car, and I don't think crashing, but I think the meaning of it, even if this was intended, but the way I interpreted it is making a mistake and doing it over and over again, not even meaning to, but you go into this, you do it over and over again. And people talked about, obviously, his cocaine addiction, how this could also be about that, like, you're trying to quit, but it just happens. You try to, let's say, love someone and they break your heart, and then you try again, they break your heart. That's what this song really means. I think, to me, it's my favorite song on the album, by a little bit. And then Be My Wife is probably my second favorite song. I just got chills talking about Always Crashing in the Same Car. That's funny. Really great song. I haven't seen the video yet, but I've heard the video is quite entertaining, although all of David Bowie's videos are, so that's not saying all too much. This is my second favorite on the album. It's kind of a sad song in a way. I was looking into it, and people obviously have different interpretations of every single song ever, but this one, they were saying it was basically like a call out to David Bowie's at the time wife, because he was traveling all the time. Obviously, this is the first of the Berlin trilogy, and this was not recorded in, like, America or Britain. It was recorded, I think, somewhere in Europe. I don't know if it was in Berlin. That's why I'm not saying it. You're probably like, why is he being stupid? But it might have been Paris. And it's kind of a sad cry out for help, almost, just because he couldn't, have the companion that he wanted, I think. And then A New Career in a New Town. Another one that kind of sticks you with, I mean, they all stick with you. I could say that about them all. And then it goes into one of the other really big ones on it, because I checked, and this was on the David Bowie Essentials, the longest song in the album and my favorite of the instrumentals, Warzawa. Again, I could be saying that wrong. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. This one was absolutely phenomenal. One of the best pieces of music I've ever heard. The way that the sound effects, everything is mixed together, is quite unbelievable, honestly. And it's almost 6.5 minutes, and it just sustains it the whole way through. Like, when I was listening to it, I was like, oh my god, it just gets better and better and better. I think there's a song that had like the tss playing in your left ear, the tss sound, but I could be wrong. It could be one of the other ones. And it has like some, this one has like a few little weird lyrics. I'm gonna check, like, so they don't apparently mean anything. They're just random things that David Bowie wrote down, which, I mean, makes sense. There was some cocaine involved, but oh well. And then it ends with Art Decade, Weeping Wall, and Subterraneans. And if I had one complaint with the album, which I barely do, it would be that maybe they could have cut off 3 minutes from it. And that could just be my first listen. I didn't even want to say that, because I feel like that wouldn't even matter. Like, there were some times where maybe it was because it got kind of lyrically, so maybe if they cut, not saying Weeping Wall, but like 3 minutes from one of those last 3 songs, 3 to 4 minutes, then it would have flowed better. But that is really stretching for it. I can't exactly give this album a 5 out of 5 yet, just because, I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5. It deserves it. Ignore what I just said there. That does not matter. I'm not gonna edit that out. But yeah, this thing is a piece of art, and it really keeps you thinking. And it's one where you're like, oh yeah, this mainly instrumental David Bowie album, and even the songs that have lyrics, there's not that many lyrics in them. There's maybe like 2 or 3 paragraphs, if that I'm just thinking of writing wise. Not that many sentences, but it really sticks with you. I love that album cover. I love all of Bowie's album covers, but I really love that one. And I'm going to be thinking about this one for a while, and this is one that I feel like I'm just going to listen to more and more and more. Again, I can't exactly place it before or after Aladdin Sane yet, and some people, just to clear this up, some people may be wondering why I skipped some albums like Young Americans, Diamond Dogs, and all that, just to skip to the Berlin Trilogy, even skipping Station to Station. But when I'm done the Berlin Trilogy, I'm going to go back to Station to Station, sorry, and then I'm going to see what you guys say, what I should listen to. I should go back to Young Americans and all that. That's just to clear that up. That's why I jumped to the Berlin Trilogy, and because I heard this was one of David Bowie's best. This video is going to be a lot longer than normal, but But what do you think of low? Tell me in the comments down below, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.